Now what you're looking at here on the screen is Adobe's restrictions on how Generative Fill AI can be used and the penalties for violating these restrictions. Now how they find out about your violations is not spelled out here, but if they become aware of your egregious transgression, you'll have your Creative Cloud account canceled, meaning no more Photoshop for you. So let's take a look at some of these restrictions and see the landmines that exist here. It says be respectful and safe. Porno, that's obvious. Hateful or highly offensive content that attacks or dehumanizes a group based on race, ethnicity, national origin, religion, serious disease, blah, 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 blah. I think that's also up for interpretation. Graphic violence or gore, that's obvious. The promotion, glorification, or threats of violence, that's obvious. Illegal activities or goods, no selling drugs, that's obvious. Self-harm or the promotion of self-harm. Depictions of nude minors or minors in a sexual manner. Why do they even have to say that? It's so obvious. Promotion of terrorism or violent extremism. Dissemination, this is the part that is going to trip them up. Dissemination of misleading, fraudulent, or deceptive content that could lead to real-world harm. Now, what does that mean? That is a subjective interpretation up one side and down another. Personal or private information of others. That's obvious. But this next to the last sentence, misleading, fraudulent, or deceptive content that could lead to real-world harm. Now, that could be anything. Section number 2 states to be authentic. We disable accounts that engage in behavior that is deceptive or harmful, including using fake information in your profile, that's obvious. Impersonating other people or entities, that's understandable. Using automated or scripting processes, and that's obvious. Engaging in schemes or third-party services to boost account engagement. I'm not sure Adobe even has anything like that anywhere. Not that I've seen anyway. Be respectful of third-party rights, that's also obvious. No commercial use. Take a look at that. Section number 5 says more information. We may take action on your Adobe account if we discover content or behavior that violates these guidelines. Now, for more information about what you can and can't do while using Adobe's generative AI, please refer to your agreement with Adobe. And of course, no link provided. Now, there's also more. We scroll to the top, and we go to this second tab right here, and we see additional terms. Now, let's go down here. Section 3, 3.2, suitability of output. Use of generative AI features may produce output that is unexpected or unsuitable for some users. The output may not be unique, and other users of generative AI features may generate the same or similar output. The output might not be protectable by intellectual property rights. It just goes on and on here with stuff that you can and can't do, and the list is certainly going to be expanded once the final version is released. Now, this document reflects the attitude from Adobe that, God forbid, they pass up any avenue for making money, and it's my guess that Generative Fill is going to cost you once the final version is released. Now, what they'll do probably, and here I'm only guessing, but they'll probably charge you for so many conversions and will monitor your text entries for creating GF images. Again, this is conjecture at this point, but it might be that they'll charge you, say, $10 a month for so many conversions or $20 for a higher number of conversions, whatever that is. The results of using GF comes from Adobe stock, which is comprised of hundreds of thousands of images submitted by third-party photographers, myself included, to sell as stock images. Now, using them in GF constitutes usage, hence the anticipated fee. More than likely, they'll figure out some way to distribute the fee to the users of Adobe stock. That has yet to be determined. In terms of restricted usage, if you enter the term, say, women's breasts or ISIS flag or some other obviously questionable request, your account will be flagged, and so you really do have to be good. 99% of us using GF will not be making terrorist promo images or porn, so I think you'll be fine. And the problem with all this is the question of who's going to determine the definition of hate or hate speech or hate groups. Does this mean parents at school board meetings will fit this definition? Will politics play a part in these interpretations? It all remains to be seen. And for now, just be good, and we all know what that means.